We're live. Awesome. Hello, everyone. Good afternoon, good morning, wherever you're joining us from. Good to have each and every one of you back for another session, another workshop with SwiftXR. And just before we get started, we'll get on with introductions. And after that, we'll talk a bit more about what we have in store for you today. So, without further ado, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Oluwatosin. I lead community at SwiftXR, and yeah, looking forward to this session. And we have an interesting and amazing um, guest with us as well on stream. So, Joshua, would you like to go ahead?
All right. My name is Joshua. I am also in the community team at SweetXR. I focus more on the community development aspect of things and also to get you to see and use and understand SweetXR to the best of my ability. That's what I'm focused on. Uh, Hope to have a fun time with you, sharing you how to embed 3D what stuff's on your website. Let's go.
Awesome, sweet. Good to have you here, Joshua. It's been an interesting one so far, and today we're going to be focusing on embedding 3D AR and VR content on your website, and this is going to be the first part of the series. We're going to be having quite a lot of these workshops because with SwiftXR you can embed 3D AR or VR content on pretty much any website, and we understand that there are different tools that are needed to do that, and we'll be sharing how you can use SwiftXR with these different tools over the course of the next few series and this one as well. Right. So, with that said, I would like to quickly introduce us for those of us that are very new to SwiftXR, what exactly SwiftXR is, and then after that, we'll get into the interesting bits of today's session. Right. So, first things first. Let's talk about our quick agenda. So, after we go over what exactly SwiftXR is, we'll talk about the use cases as well. And then Joshua will be doing a live demo for us, which I'm really, really looking forward to. Right. And first things first, what exactly is SwiftXR? Right. SwiftXR is a no-code web platform where designers, businesses, and developers can create interactive experiences. And this basically allows you to share your designs faster on the web, embed 3D content on the web without having to write any single line of code, which will definitely save development effort. And also, it reduces the cost of having to hire a developer, especially for businesses to write code to embed 3D content on your website. This is something you could literally pick up and just drag and drop, copy the embed code and just put it on your website, which is pretty much interesting, right? And with that said as well, our core focus itself is ensuring our non-technical audience as well can easily build websites that are immersive and engaging without having to do too much, right? And also, the ease of use. We've built SwiftXR in such a way that it's easy for anyone to use and create what contents they want on their website when it comes to 3D, augmented reality, and virtual reality. And the idea is to also focus on developers looking for quick iterations and prototyping on websites. And for 3D artists as well that might want to showcase their work. So, say for example, you have created a bunch of 3D models that you'd like to showcase on your portfolio, but just taking screenshots of it might not be enough sometimes. So, to make your portfolio more engaging and immersive, SwiftXR could be the solution for you to achieve that, right? And businesses looking to boost client engagement as well. Say for example you're a furniture brand and you want your customers to see what the furniture might look like before they purchase it, and you want them to see it in their environment. SwiftXR is definitely a solution for you to achieve that, right? So in terms of some of the places where you can use SwiftXR across the web, we have quite a lot of integrations and plugins across the web. So on Bubble, on WordPress, on Shopify, on Wix, you can embed 3D content using the SwiftXR plugin. We're also available on Canva and Figma if you're looking at generating snapshots of your 3D models to use within your designs as well. So aside from embedding 3D AR or VR content, SwiftXR also allows you to generate 3D snapshots of these 3D models and use that on your designs as well. And for 3D artists, we do have the Blender plugin that allows you directly upload your 3D models to the web using SwiftXR. So if you're looking at creating character-based animations and using that on your website as well, take for example, maybe as a character on your website or a simple personal profile page with an animated character. That is something you can do on Ready Player Me as well, and on SwiftXR along with Ready Player Me. And we're also part of the NVIDIA Inception program, which means we do have a lot of access to AI resources that can help you in working on AI based tools as well. So we do have our AI integration at the moment where you can generate AI-based images that can be viewed in augmented reality using SwiftXR. So feel free to check all of that out on swiftxr.io, right? And speaking of our features, aside from our plugins and integrations, we have our 3D viewer, our plane detection as well. We have NFT viewers. So for those of you who are into NFTs and would like to view them in your actual world space, right, in your real world, we do have a feature that allows you to do that directly. You can create full body 3D avatars um, on SwiftXR as well. We do have image tracking, we have face tracking, and if you're looking at creating a virtual environment for people to view on the web as well, we do have that as a feature on SwiftXR. And some of the use cases which we get, which is used a lot by our customers, include real estate, artwork showcase, and e-commerce. But it goes way beyond this. But the e-commerce one allows you to integrate into platforms like Shopify, Wix, and sell your products. And not just selling the product alone, but getting your customers to view immersive versions of the products they are buying, which increases the rate of customer satisfaction as well. So feel free to check out some of these use cases and let us know if you have any issues at all using the platform. We are always happy to help out. You can always reach out to support@swiftxr.io if you ever run into any issues. But enough with the talking, and let's get to the doing, right? And showing you how SwiftXR could be used to embed 3D content or AR or VR content on your website. And just a reminder, once again, this is the first part of a couple of series we will be bringing to you via the workshops on how you can use SwiftXR to embed 3D content on your website. Without further ado, I would like to pass it on to Joshua to show us how we can embed 3D content on our website, using React. And Joshua, would you like to talk a bit more about that before we get started? Hello, can you hear me, Joshua? Hello. All right. I think we did run into a bit of an issue. Would continue regardless, and hopefully Joshua joins us back in time. But before then as well, just wanted to quickly show us. Let me see if I can pop that up onto my screen. How we can do that on a simple playground as well. So just a moment. So let me introduce us to the SwiftXR page itself. Okay, there we go. Sweet. So once you go over to swiftxr.io, right, and you're logged in, you should be able to see a hub like this. And this is the main hub where you can get to see all the projects you have, but the ones that are local and the ones that are published already. Then we do have a couple of templates for you to get started with, just to give you an idea of some of the things that you can do with Swift XR, right? And in here as well, you can view analytics on how your effects or how your AR projects, how your VR projects on the web are currently going. And we do have an asset store here where you can view all the snapshots you've made. Remember when I talked about creating 2D images of your 3D models, right? You can do that on Figma or on Canva, and you can also do that when you go over to snap.swiftxr.io. And we're just going to put that in the chats for each and every one of you to check that out as well. Let's just drop that in the comments. There we go. So you can use snap.swiftxr.io to generate snapshots of your 3D models, just like this one, right? And you can also request a 3D model if you do not have any experience with 3D modeling. And we would respond to that as well. Right. So how do you get started? To get started, just create a new project here. Select create project, and let's call this workshop demo March. There we go. And just click on create, and this should open up a SwiftXR project for us. All right, then. So once you're signed in and once you've created your project, over to the left here, we have our components. So the components form the basic building block for creating your SwiftXR projects, right? And in here, you have the basic components that allow you to arrange your canvas, this empty canvas here itself. So you have the 1 column, 2 columns, 3 column layouts, and you have text, images, and links, right? And if we move on, you have your 3D components here where you have a 3D viewer, which is just a component that allows you view your projects in 3D. That's all, to view a 3D object. Then you have the augmented reality viewer as well that allows you view your 3D models in AR, right? Then you have the virtual reality viewer. So if you are creating a VR project, right, that you would like people to see, to do a walkthrough of your environment on the web, you can use the VR component. Then we have a 3D carousel. So if you have a bunch of 3D models that you want to showcase at the same time, you can use a 3D carousel for that. And we also do support image tracking and face tracking. So with image tracking, you do need a 2D image that can be used as the tracker, right? That when the camera detects that particular image, it's able to show up your 3D models onto that image. So this can be used for different this has a lot of use cases actually. Think of art shows, people that want to demo different 3D models on their art. Think of flyers for posters as well for movies, where you can showcase 3D models on those flyers as well. And it has a lot of use cases like that. And we also have face tracking, which has been used a lot for brands that sell eyewear, headwear, and things like that, where users can track 3D models of different things like this on their face. And for a more detailed tutorial on how to use some of these components, you can check out our YouTube playlist. We do have a playlist for using each and every one of these components. So you can check that out. And we've had workshops in the past as well, where we've looked at things like face tracking and image tracking as well. Right. So there's that. Then we have the customizable model 3D viewer, which basically just allows you to customize a 3D model that you have on your in your project as well. And we have 3D text if you're looking at getting to showcase 3D, your text in 3D for AR or VR. So think, for example, when you're at events and you have like this really large hashtag text in the real world itself. So having to print that, say for example, there was a mistake in the printing and you've already created that. A quick fix would just be to go over to swiftxr.io, just type in the text there, the font you want, it generates a 3D model of it. Then you can use that in augmented reality and then take the same pictures for your events without having to spend the extra cost of having to print a new 3D text in the real world, right? And we have the indexable 3D viewer here. This is focused for ADR developers, right? And you can use this to index multiple 3D models that you can change based on the index as well, right? And once again, for a detailed tutorial on each of these components, just check out our YouTube channel, and we have tutorials on all these components as well. So if we continue down this line, we do have our AI artwork viewer here that basically allows you to generate an image based on a text prompt, right? Allows you to generate an AI image based on your text prompt. Cool. And we also have our art here, which is the AR artwork viewer. So for artists that might want to share their artwork in augmented reality, feel free to try this out. It's very, very neat and just allows you to showcase your artwork in augmented reality. And then for those of us who might be interested in a customizable 3D character, we do have an integration with Ready Player Me here where you can use your Ready Player Me characters and animate them and use them on your websites as well. Right, so those are some of the components that we do have here. And within the layers here, you get to see all the items or all the objects on your canvas right in the middle here. And we have our files where you get to see all the files you've uploaded as well, literally. And you have your project settings here where you can change details about your project. And to the far right here, you have the design and properties that you can use to make changes to your components. So say, for example, I were to drag in a simple AR 3D viewer here. This spawns in a normal cube, right? And we do have a 3D store here. So you can upload a 3D model of your choice. By the way, Joshua's back. Good to have you back, Joshua. You could upload a 3D model of your choice here, or use integration with Sketchfab, which gives you access to thousands of 3D models across the web that you can use within your project as well. And let me just accept this. There we go. So I'm logged in, and you could search for literally anything here, but you want to be careful of the sizes you as well of the 3D models that you're using, because that can be very, very important, especially when you're publishing your project. So remember, the larger the size of your 3D models, the longer it will take for your web page to load. But luckily, with SwiftXR, we do have a compression algorithm built into it that helps you to compress your 3D model size, and that includes your mesh size and your texture size as well, which is pretty brilliant. But say, for example, you grab this car here, which I love using a lot. It downloads that and puts that into your scene itself. And then if you go over to the properties here, you can set the AR properties. You can set where are you the customization options as well, where you can change the colors and the different bits of the car. If you want to customize that, you can see all the guys here. And then you can add variants for this different material. Say, for example, you can add multiple variants here for your character, and I could maybe select a yellow variant, something like this, or maybe something a bit green. And then if you try to preview your project, you would have the option of choosing either this red bit or this green bit for your car as well. So this is some of the things you can do with Swift. And once you're comfortable enough, you can then publish this, right? And when you publish this, let's go, and it compresses it, like I said earlier on, to reduce the size. And let's wait for that to generate a link to our website. Right, there we go. We have a link generated already. And with this link, if you just go over to a new Google tab, Chrome tab here, you can see a link to the website of your project already, which is a 3D model, right? So if you are on your mobile, right, you can view it in AR, but if you're on PC, you cannot. But if you quickly scan this code that we have on the screen right now, this allows you to view that particular 3D model on your mobile phone in augmented reality. Right, so there goes that. And with that said, next thing we're going to be looking at would be the embed codes, especially for embedding 3D content on your website. So today, I believe Joshua would be taking us through how we can do that using the React embed code and how you can build a normal website using React and then use this embed code generated by SwiftXR to view this on your web page. Joshua, over to you if you can hear me. You're currently mute, by the way. I don't know if you can hear me.
All right.
Yep, I can hear you as well.
All right, good. Let me share my screen so you can have that. Let me know when you do have it.
Yeah, we can see your screen now, Joshua. By the way, for the QR code, Big Paul would share a link to the actual I'll share a link to the actual project itself, and you can still use that link to view the project. So let me just put that in the chat. All right, then over to you, Joshua.
All right. Okay. Let me see. This should work. Okay, so I would be walking us through how we could like use the embed code from Swift XR to put our 3D models onto a website built with React. So um, when I came back, I saw that we've talked about how to import, but I'm just going to walk that through again to take you to the journey of how that would work for this particular use case. So I've gone ahead to scaffold like a simple website. This is one of the use case where you would see SwiftXR exceeding becoming to be of use, where you have a product page, you have in the e-commerce side of things where you need to show customers a more immersive, more interactive view of the products they're offering. So this is a two-page thing. This is locally on the machine. I would not go deep into writing the entire project from scratch because that's going to take a lot of the time we've got. So, but let me just walk you through what we should expect, right? So this is a simple website. This is a simple page. This is what you would might see if you want to buy a product and you see a gallery page. And nothing fancy. I'm going to share a link to this project soon. So let's say I'm interested in buying a wooden stool, for example, and I'm a customer get coming to this website, right? I go, oh, I like this particular one. I click on it, and it takes me to a page where I can see more details about it. And depending on depending on my need at that moment and the need of on the way the thing is presented, I might be able to make that choice of purchasing because at the end of the day, the goal is to get the customer to buy things, right? And this is what you would see the page where it shows the title of what you're buying and things like that. But you can also see by the right left hand side that we have just a simple image that shows. So, for example, let's say I go to being careful selecting image. Okay, this is squished a bit, but you can still see that we just see the image and we see details about it by the side. Let me go back to this way. All right, so now what we could do here is let's see how we can replace this with a more immersive version with a more because I feel if we can find a way to interact with this particular image, it might give the customer a better experience. Let's see how we can do that with XR. And this was built with React. I'm going to show you the code very soon. So if you want access to github.com core summon/swift, I'm going to send this link to the chart so you could, in case you want to copy, and let's say you if you have an experience, you'll be able to see. Let me send that to. Okay, good. All right, so I can go back live now. Am I live? Okay, good. All right. So this is the repo that contains the all information of all the code we'll be writing today. So in case you want to go deeper, you could just look at this and be able to see what we're working with. But everything starts from Swift Excel, right? And this is the platform where you would be importing the models, getting the 3D things, and giving it, like, customizing it. And it's so easy that at the end of the day, you get a simple real code or like a URL that you can embed into your website. So if you don't have an account, you get to sign up or you get started. But I do have an account, so I'm just gonna come in using the account I have. But do sign up if you do not have one. And once we are there, we are presented with like a dashboard of projects, right? So this is the interface you feel. You can use templates of these are sample templates that you can use. But for this project, to just show you the use case I want to do, I'm not going to use a template. I'm going to use I'm going to create a new project. So let's do that. How do we create a new project? We go to add new and let's give it a good name. So based on the name of our app, if you see it, we say the name of this product is Vazolu, whatever. Terrible with names, right? But that should work. So live. So I create a new project, and that is just going to provision us an environment that we can use to work with our models. And this is intuitive in some manners, I would say myself. And so when you have this dashboard, there's so many things that can happen from here. But one of the things is you have the option to select several components. So we have the components, we have layers, we have files, and project settings. I won't go into a lot of this because during the course of the series of this workshop, we would expect that we are going to touch on areas that's going to make sure that we see and explore this. So if you didn't register, please go register so that you can be notified when the next workshop is happening. So to do that 3D thing, I'm going to select 3D. And because I want to work with a 3D viewer, right? So remember when I said that the goal is to get customers to be able to see this, but then also interact with it. Like want them to be able to move things around and see the space and all that. So the way to do that in SwiftXR is to use the 3D viewer. There are other viewer. There's the customizable 3D viewer and a lot of other things. But to keep things simple for this first episode, we're going to use the 3D viewer, and I'm going to drag that. So you see, I'm going to drag that into the space. And that is simply going to do one thing. It's going to create the components there and also give us the abilities to make changes to it. So once that is done, you can actually just use this as this, right? But the thing is, this is not the image I want, right? This is not the image I want. So what do? I need to bring in the image of the chair or whatever I want to display on that particular site. And the way I can do that is either drag or drop my 3D models here, and we see we accept a number of files. But because I do not have any special 3D model created, I can also use from the 3D store. And what the 3D store is, it is just like a connection to Sketchfab. Sketchfab is a large repository of 3D models done by amazing artists around the world in a single place. So you have to log into that, but I've already done that. So this is going to be a simple, straightforward thing for me. But for you, you might need to log in or create an account and import that here, right? So let's say um, I'm looking for a stool. I'm going to search for stool, and I'm going to select one of these nice stool. The closest one to that should be, I think I like this. I'm going to download and select that. So that's going to get this the 3D model from Sketchfab and bring it into, this is supposed not to take more than 2, 3, 4 minutes with good internet, but because I have to explain, it's going to take more time. So this is my stool in Swift Excel. This is not gone beyond this space. I can do one of two things. I can publish this as a web page itself, so I can send a link to people to visualize this 3D model. But I can also take this and embed it inside the React website I'm building. So let's see how we can do that right away. Of course, you can customize this page. You can change the color, but I want to keep things lean. But there's a lot of options for you to change the background of things, change the color of the material there. A lot of options. We're going to explore this a lot. Trust me. But for now, let's just publish. So publishing means that you're taking this 3D model and you're giving Swift Excel permission to make that into a form that can be shared, that can be sent across the internet for people to view, that can be given to somebody to just open. But you're also gonna be able to create embeds from it. Embed is several forms of embed, whether I put it inside view or whatever. So let's wait for that to complete, and we're gonna go to the second part of this workshop where I'm going to use that in the website. So this is it. I can either click embed code, or for example, let's say I wasn't able to do that. I can always come back here and open this and select embed code. Snap is something cool, but let's just focus on getting it into React for now. I'm going to React. So you see from where, if you can see that we have several options that we can use, whether I put in a simple HTML page. Honestly, most of the code is the same. If you are a developer, you can almost see that. However, if it's just making things easy for you to be able to just grab the one you need right away without having to worry about the customization of things, because you see it's always an iframe and things like that. But we've made it super easy because we are also concerned about your developer experience. We're going to just copy this, and that's it. I'm done with Swift Excel. Let's now go into what our code will look like. So remember that this is what I have. By the way, if you have any questions or things, please put in the chat so that I can always come back to it after. So we have like a simple website. I'm running that on my local machine for developers, if you see this. And right on my local machine is just a Vite React thing. And I'm going to see right now, it's a simple chair that is routed from the page. Let's see how we can turn that into a 3D version, right? Let me go to my code, and do not be scared. It's a lot, might be scary, but honestly, it's just not. It's just like lines of codes, right? But so this is the particular page that shows this image. Yeah. So for example, if I want to say, let me make that very obvious. Let me do border red 50. Let me save that. Yes, you can see. Did I make that clear? Yeah, this is the part of the code, because say I gave it a border red. I'm using Tailwind. If you're a dev, hopefully, I'm using Tailwind. So that is gonna make that obvious. So we'll see what next is. So let me see how I can replace this with my 3D embed. So I'm gonna take out this very boring stationary static image, and then I'm going to comment that out. I'm going to replace that with the stuff I copied from SwiftXR, format that nicely, and I'm going to do what? I'm going to save. And right immediately, you can see that we've got our image all the way from SwiftXR into a website I literally just calculated on my PC. And this is good. Honestly, if I had to choose, like, do I want this? I would prefer to be able to see things, zoom in, maybe check. And by the way, like I said, there are several options that you can have to customize things. You can make people change color of things. I'm gonna explore more on that maybe in the next version of this workshop, because we're trying as much as possible to keep this very lean so that it doesn't feel too overwhelming. But you can see we can move this around now. This would always be stationary, right? Let me zoom into that part of the code. Sorry if this is looking too overwhelming, this code part, but this is the area I should focus on. You see, I copied just a simple text, a simple embed code from SwiftXR. Where is my SwiftXR? I copied just this copy, and I went to my code, and I replaced that part of the image with just the iframe part, and that's it. Now I can look at ways to make this better, because as you can see right now, uh, based on my local machine, whatever image I select, it's always going to give me the same 3D model, right? So let me show you the trick I used to, because this is the version that is deployed. You see, if I select this, it is going to show me something different than the next one. Um, give that a while to boot up. Yeah. So that depends on your organization features of using this. So you see, it's a couch. That's not a couch. I select this. It's not going to be a couch. It's going to be something else, right? Let's see what that is. Okay. So while that is loading, this is going to be a different 3D model than the previous one, right? So what I'm trying to say is, how do you then make sure that it is always coming back with the 3D model that is particular to that one? Well, this is the area you should be concerned about. This part that it says HTTPS excessive personal app is the part you should be concerned about, right? And if you want to deploy and publish another Web3, um, another 3D model, for example, let me go back to where all my projectors, pardon me a bit, yeah, back to orb. This is part where we deploy this tool. Let me just grab another link of another 3D object I've deployed and show you that it's just that link that you would need to change and update for the next thing. So I have this box Ili. Don't mind the names, it's maybe silly. All right, so this is another wooden thing that looks like a stool. Now I can grab the link of this, go to share, grab the link of this, come over to my website, and do what? Replace this with this and save, and go back to my local version of it. And let's see what happens now. Boom, you see, this is gonna be the stool with the bench thing we have on my Excel. So that should tell you that what you need to just keep updating. We've given you everything you need. This should not be up. Don't touch this. Only change this if you need to, like, have another model or something. So which start giving you ideas of how you can start passing that down as a prop. So what I've done with the one I hosted is to create, like, this might come from an API or something, but I created like a constant page where I have added details of all my products. So you see, these are all the products I have here, and you can almost see we have the title, wooden, We have the price 59, 59. The description, organize your workspace. You get that here, and the SwiftXR URL. You see what I did here is that every SwiftXR URL. Let me just do a trick and select everything. All right, so you see every SwiftXR URL here is particular to a particular product. So this might come from an API or something. So that could just be updated with the link to the model wherever you've published it, and then you can fetch that down into your component or wherever you're using it. I'm passing that as a prop here. I'm gonna just take this and do a single thing. I'm gonna take this out and replace it with that SwiftXR URL thing. I'm gonna save that. And now let's test, let's see. If I click this, we should get a couch because now that was the old version. In fact, let me just update one of that with something new. A second, please. Sorry if this is, I'm just gonna update this with Regalers. Anyways, let's do that. So you can see that we now have the couch here, right? This is my local version. And let's test this now because I'm passing as a prop. I'm just changing that particular line of URL. I now have a stool here, all on this website by just changing just a single line of the way I'm structuring. So this is just to show you that you just need to keep changing the SRC so you can have a component somewhere that you can always update the SwiftXR URL, and that is going to be populated with the URL you get from SwiftXR code. And that's it. And that is how you can get your 3D embeds all the way from SwiftXR into a React component, a React page that we can show to your customers or show to your people that will be using your website. So now let's talk about optimization features quickly before I hand over to Tosin. So one thing I would just say is because we are dealing with iframes, and iframes are, if you go read a lot about it, it could cause some performance issue if you do some things wrongly. And one of that is do not use iframes on pages like this. A page where you have multiple things showing. Imagine if this is an embed, an embed, an embed, an embed, an embed. Trust me, this page is going to take time to load. Number two, your customers machine might not be able to process it at the speed they want, and you want it to be fast because we're in an age where we want fast things. We want things to look good. We also want them to come as the speed of light. So if you add embed everywhere, you are gonna be putting a lot of pressure and strain on the computers of your users, and that is gonna mess up their experience with your website. And you do not want that because a customer's experience being messed up means you don't get to convert them to buyers. You don't get to sell them your products or whatever you're building with it. And then if you're not using it on e-commerce websites, you're probably using it on the page to display something cool on your portfolio page. If I go to a website like that and it's taking time to load, trust me, I would leave. So don't do that. Don't put your don't have multiple embeds on pages like this. And number two, also monitor the size at which you are using. You see, this is defined. This goes all the way from year to year to year to year. I could have it bigger. Well, if I do that, that means I'm giving him more space to do his thing, and that means sorry, and that means more computing needs. That means I need to do more. The user's computer needs to be able to handle more because of that more space. So you have to be mindful of how extent you're going to do it. And this is not just SwiftXR thing. This is just general optimization techniques so that you can always give the experience that your customers will need for their websites, right? So that is it. So those are the two things I will share today. If you want to catch more of those optimization, please do well to join the next episode of these workshops where we're going to be going deeper into especially optimizing these things to your users and also getting them to be able to use these things. So that is the simple and straightforward down and dirty version of getting your 3D models from SwiftXR into React, using that with React. I'm going to share a link to this website now. So in case you want to play around or like mess around with that, we're going to have that. So thank you so much. See you in the next one. Tosin, please, you can, it's all yours now.
Sweet, awesome. That's been pretty fun. The optimization options have been really, really good. To be fair, once again, don't put all your embed um, embed stuff on one page. It's better when you have them on separate pages of their own, but you can always have a gallery of all the static images in one place, and then that links to each individual place. Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that, Joshua. Just putting the live app in the chat as well so everyone can see it. There you go. And if you've missed the GitHub project where the entire project itself is hosted, this is it here as well. We just highlighted that. Awesome. And yeah, so if you also, let me see if I can, yeah, there we go. Awesome. Thank you very much, Olawale. So if you do want to maybe say, for example, just test out how it would look like on a web page, you could go over to a playground like this. I believe you all can see my screen. You could always go over to a playground like this and just check it out. And where you have the body of the text here, you can really play around with things and just say, for example, get the embed code for the HTML here, copy it, and just paste that in here and see what that gives you. And you can see here, just gives you a link to having that on your website. So you can easily just test things out like this before you even build your full website and see what it looks like. And all the settings still apply, just the same way you had them in your SwiftXR editor. And once again, if there's anything that is unclear or you have any issues at all, feel free to reach out to us at support@swiftxr.io. Feel free to go over the playlist as well. We do have a lot of previous workshops that you can go over. We do have a lot of tutorials as well on the different components that you can go over. So please feel free to check that out. And in the coming series as well, we do have quite a lot of embed codes here. We've looked at React today, and in the coming we kind of touched on HTML as well. And just like Joshua said earlier on, there's just tiny bits of differences between all the different embed codes. But for those of us who do not have a technical background, this is a perfect avenue for you to easily do things without having to write too much code. I'll put it that way. So you have all of this here, and we do have it available on Swift as well. So if you're building a project for Swift with the Swift UI on the Apple devices, right, you can use this embed code as well to use it for a Swift related project. So with that said, I would be looking forward to the next series. So moving on from this now, we're going to be just going over a quick recap on some of the things we've talked about today. We've talked about mostly what SwiftXR can do, some of the use cases as well, and how you can use it to embed 3D content on your actual websites, right? Using React. And with that said and done, it would be time for question and answers. If there are any questions you have, anything that's been unclear throughout the day, feel free to let us know, and we'll be happy to touch on that. If there are any questions at all, let me know. And by the way, Joshua, do you have any last words before we call it a day as well, while we're answering questions?
Oh yeah, I would say that the best way to get to experience this stuff is to play around with the stuff themselves. So you, like Justin just said, that you don't have to scaffold like an entire React project if you don't want to. You could just go to that link is shared, playcode.io. I think you can maybe put it in the chat so that you can see. So
Oh yeah.
you could always go there to play around with things and see, because this is a code, you want to provide like the thing that gives your website the wow factor. When I come to a thing and I see that, oh my god, I can actually just interact with this thing rather than just seeing a static image, trust me, I might tell my friends and I also bring people around. And that's just be the thing that separates you from the multitude of people that do things in the same space and field that you are in. So you could just check it out. We also have a community that you could join and where you could ask questions. I'm sure we're going to put that in the chat as well. And that's what I'm going to say. So if you have questions, please always throw us and play around and experience and do catch us in the next workshop where we're going to be doing
Yeah,
something more in this and probably going deeper into Excel features. All right. Thank you
sweet.
so much.
So we do have a question. We do have a question. How do you get to 3D models to load super fast? I think we made mention of this earlier on as well. There is a compression algorithm available on the SwiftXR editor that allows us compress your 3D models easily without having any issues. But one thing to be constantly aware of is the fact that you need to watch out for the 3D model sizes you're using within the editor as well. So do ensure not you're not using really large um, 3D model file sizes. We do encourage and we do advise you don't do anything beyond 50 megabytes. But if the need be, you can go over that. But anything above 100 MB for a 3D model on the web might be too much, especially because it reduces the loading times for your web pages. So you have to be careful about that as well. But once again, it's very important to note that when you're working with 3D on the internet, you have to be as careful as possible, especially about the sizes of your 3D models. So you want your websites to load as fast as possible. But with SwiftXR, most of the 3D processing and optimization is done automatically for you, which is a very good thing. Right. And moving on from this, do we have any other questions in the chat? No, we just have. Um, oh, I think we've covered how could you show the QR code again. We dropped a link to that in the chat earlier on, and I think there are no other questions from what I can see here. So, if you've missed any of this, if you're just joining in as well, do not worry. A link or else the recording of this will be provided on YouTube for you to go over later on. So feel free to check that out. And with that said and done, thank you all so much for joining today's workshop. And just like we said earlier on, this is the very first part of many series to come for embedding 3D content on your website using SwiftXR. So we look forward to seeing you in the next one. And with that said, Joshua, any other thing just before I call it a day?
All is good from my end. Thank you.
All right, then. Thank you all so much, everyone, and do have a lovely rest of your evening. Have a great weekend, and see you all in the next session. Bye.